Hello and welcome back for Season 3 of Are We There, our Rags to Riches save. Before I get too far ahead of myself, first off, I want to apologise. I've had endless amounts of technical difficulties the last week or so. Initially, the microphone I was using died. I waited about 4 days for a new one to turn up. And then recorded what would have been episode 1. And then my laptop died whilst editing. I have PC and a laptop, so I can alternate. I can keep recording whilst editing. It was helping my efficiency. Basically, I then lost that episode. Obviously, went and bought some new parts for the PC just to beef it up so that I could do everything on one. And that decided not to work for a couple of days. Had to work out a few more technicalities. But we're good to go, obviously, because I'm recording right now. Problem being now, I've lost the episode. So you'll see that we're already a few games through here. What's that? For about 8 or 9 games played. Obviously, not all league games, but we can run you through that in a moment. So I probably should have gone to the transfer screen first, because there's going to be maybe some names here that you wouldn't expect. Alright, we'll go back to last season first, because there's a few on the end here. So towards the end of the season, I honestly can't remember the last one we picked up. I think it was Graham Carey. I'm pretty sure we had him. Obviously he's now injured, but he's been absolutely phenomenal. The end of last season and even the start of this season. Just a man on fire. There's a few clubs already starting to sniff around, then he got injured. And that seems to have disappeared just a little bit. I brought in Christian Karikas from Hungary. Apologies if that's not how you pronounce his name. Was meant to be a replacement for Sean Gannon and Vemeland and Long all at the same time. Didn't really work out, to be honest. Physically, he's quite nice. Sort of about it. So he's on loan at Shelbourne. We've got quite a few players out on loan, hoping that we'll see some improvement at some point. But at the end of the day, I think Gannon's still on. He's definitely on top of his game. Next in is Michael Caine. I really personally felt that the midfield needed to be beefed up a bit. I wasn't too happy with the options we had, especially in the central midfield. So Michael Caine is essentially our key player in the central midfield. Ignore Graham Carey over here. Matty Lund as well, we'll get to. Caine and Lindsay have been the main partnership. James Chambers has fallen off the face of the earth. And Devontae Redmond, yeah, that was a mistake. And he'll be leaving pretty soon. Next is Kieran O'Hara, was going to be a backup keeper. He's turned into more of a prospect because I did bring in Rennie Gumartin towards the end or the beginning of the season. But O'Hara's got plenty of potential there. He was also Irish, which helped with our homegrown needs, requirements, etc. Christian Cuevas, our starting left back, came in and actually we don't even want that, do we? Yeah, he replaced Massey, I think. I can't remember their names. I think Massey is the left back. Let's just change that for a second. Yeah, Massey. I've also got another one who's much better. He's fantastic. And to be honest, his wages are probably cheaper than what he should be on. He's played really well so far. And I think at 23, there's still plenty of room for him to grow. Despite that, he's saying a half star of potential. So Matty Lund, we sort of touched on before. I know his squad status is key player, but he's more the backup, and I should probably change that status. He's been injured for a bit, so he hasn't played a whole lot. I'm going to do that now while I'm thinking about it. We'll go rotation. Probably piss him off. That could be a big mistake. But the thing is, Lindsay and Caine have formed a really, really good partnership. Caine in particular has just been absolutely immense since coming in. As you see, there's not much here. A few guys went on loan. Gary Rogers retired, and then this is a youth player that just ended up leaving. Plenty more on this. So this is this season. For some reason, they split it up over 2. Plenty of loans. A few there went out on freeze. We did make the one sale of Darren Meenan. Just couldn't find a place for him, to be honest with you. So you'll soon see a bit of a trend. Steph Norton here is the first of many youth talents I brought in. Specifically because I'm trying to get more homegrown club players. Should we stay here for any length of time, it's going to become a real issue trying to find quality that's been trained at the club, and I don't want to waste 4 spots of the registration just because they were trained at the club instead of having a quality player and then having a strong 25-man squad, if that makes sense. So anyway, Steph Norton came from Kettering Town in England, 17 years old, and it says he's got potential to be one of the best players in the team. Suits me just fine. That actually jumps up and down a little bit depending on which coach or scout is looking at him. But you'll see, some pretty nice stats here. He's only 5'11", nice jumping, heading, pretty good with a free kick, determination, flair, off the ball, work rate, technique, stamina. Not the fastest in the world, but he will run for a long period of time. He's naturally fit, so it's just an option, a youth option for later on. And there are a couple of more. Phil Gawley is another one. I believe, where did he come from? Crusaders, and I've got another couple that are on their way. Gawley, though, look at that pace: 18 pace, 15 acceleration, 15 agility, 13 balance, 13 natural fitness, 12 stamina, 11. He's going to be a brilliant winger. I think, yeah, he's being tutored at the moment, so I'm hoping to turn him into a bit of a star. Cameron Burgess up next, a new first choice centre back. Well, shares that role with Stephen O'Connor, Australian. Via England and Scotland, I believe, if we have a look at, Australia, Scotland, England, Australia. Yeah, so the plan was to find some centre-backs with a little bit more pace, because the ones we had last season were getting on a little bit. They weren't quite fast enough to deal with a Route 1 style. And unfortunately, Burgess didn't quite meet that, but he is a fantastic player, and he started out the season really brightly. He's formed a pretty strong partnership with O'Connor. And I can live with playing a little bit deeper if it means having somebody of that quality. Herbie Kane was a little bit of a last minute. I remember saying how I wanted a DM for when we come up against the stronger teams. And I couldn't find much. I really couldn't. Or not much that I wanted to spend money on. So Herbie Kane comes in from Liverpool. He's on loan. The best defensive midfielder in the team. He's also a pretty solid central midfielder, but he's just a backup, really, a rotation option, because I want to rely on our players, despite I know a lot of their stats are pretty nice, and I will be keeping an eye on him. He's only 19, his contract's only a couple of years away. So Declan Rice, it's actually a little bit of a strange one. Now that I've played a few games, he's sort of taken on a different role. Initially it was just a youth prospect, 5-star potential. He's 19. We might just sneak him in the club homegrown menu. But like I say, now he's played a few games. He's got more of the pace that we were looking for. But he's also got reasonably good mentals for a 19. Determination obviously is pretty crap. And composure's not far behind it, which is sort of important for a centre-back, I'll admit. But at the same time, he's played pretty strongly. He's played our cup games, and I think Burgess is sort of. I've swapped him in and out quite a lot. But Rice looks like he could be really solid. You know, you can also sort of play as a DM should we need it. Probably could push him into maybe a ball-winning midfielder role, centre mid at some point if we wanted to. But I really like what he could do. You know, what he could be even. You know, perhaps you even get him to play a ball-playing defender. You know, his passing and his vision aren't too far away from what, even the first touch, they're not too far away from what you'd like in a ball-playing defender. So the last one, I sort of touched on it before, Renigal Martin. I sort of picked him up really like last minute. Again, he's Irish, so it's good for our homegrown. And being 30, he's good in the sense that he can tutor. I think Flat and O'Hara are both young enough to be tutored. And that could be really, really positive for our whole club going forward. So he's played more of the backup role than O'Hara has. But I'm totally okay with that, I'm going to be honest. And you can see just some of the loans. I know we touched on it a little bit before. Who we got? Poynton. He went back out on loan again. I still believe he's going to be really solid. Kilduff, I probably should have let him go. I made the mistake of re-signing him. Because I thought we were going to struggle for strikers. And also Boadu's gone out on loan again. Just because he's not quite there. You know, you can see Halkadel, Honeyman, they're both better, and those are the ones that are primarily playing that central, that cam role. And Halkadel, look at this. His growth looks absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait for him to become an integral. Sorry, I cannot wait for him to become an integral part of the squad. The advanced playmaker still hasn't quite got there yet. I don't want to play him as a shadow striker, but he's not too far away from being a pretty solid advanced playmaker. So to go back to the schedule, I know we started here. You see we haven't lost yet, which is brilliant. So we've had the Leinster Senior Cup. We've progressed through the 4th round and the quarterfinal already. We won the President's Cup. I think that's sort of a Community Shield kind of deal. So we've bagged that one again. And we've also progressed through the 1st round of the EA Sports Cup. As far as the league goes, 4 wins and a draw. The Bohemian game was just... yeah. It's a bit of a weird one, that one. We just couldn't do anything. I think match stats wise, we're dominating teams, just sometimes we're not actually getting the goals. This one not so much. 13, yeah. If we just go back to one of the earlier games, you'll sort of see what I mean if I can find the right one. Yeah, 19 shots, 10 on target. It created sort of 6 chances all up. We got 3 goals in that game, but there's been a couple there. You know what? I'm talking shit because look, 4-4 and then a whole bunch of 3s. So we haven't really struggled to score goals at all. So as far as anything else goes, we're on match day. So we'll come back in for Longford obviously and then Bray next. If we have a quick look at the table. 2 points clear. We only played 5 games. And don't forget that, our Champions League, this all starts again, I think, July. So that's what, about 3 months, I think, and we'll be back into the qualifiers. And as far as expectations, they really don't... all they want is for us to win the league. I don't think anything else is even relevant. Obviously, this will reset once that comes back around, like in July, like I said. As far as any other news, nothing really. The finances are starting to take a big hit. It's probably a lot because of the wages. I've filled the staff out quite a lot as well. Still looking for another scout. So coaching, we could definitely do with some improvement in the near future. I'm hoping some of these contracts expire at some point. If we have a quick look at the training, so I'm just leaving myself in all of them because I'm hoping that somehow they'll start improving. I don't think it's going to happen. But anyway, let's get into the game. We've talked too much already. So technically, we're still playing the same 4-2-3-1 with the inside forwards. Ambrose is a winger. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I think McElhinney was the one we were playing up there, wasn't it? No, it's because Carey's injured, so I've had to drop that to a winger instead. You can see, obviously, Michael Caine, I was saying before, he's already averaging a 7.42. O'Connor's up to a 7.7. Ambrose has played pretty strongly. Still can't get rid of that looking for the pass. We're trying to retrain him off that again. And I'm really hoping that goes soon because up front, he's going to be a real threat one day soon. So enough talking. Let's get into it. Alright, so we are the major favourites. I'm going to tell them I expect to win. Just to put some pressure on them early, I'd like to see us take an early control of the league, just so that when European football rolls around again, we can focus on that a little bit more. Because I'm hoping we might be able to make the group stage this year. Let me just check everything's where it should be. Perfect. Alrighty. So it feels good to be back. I can't lie about that. I know there's not a million people watching this video, but for the ones that are, I hope it hasn't been too much trouble waiting. I do apologise. It's been extremely frustrating. Just trying to get everything going, and as soon as you sort one thing out, a new problem starts. I think initially, actually what might have started this before the microphone even was that my PC locked me out of my account. Basically kept signing me into a temporary one, and I ended up having to reinstall Windows altogether. So it's been what's the word? Adventurous couple of weeks. I'm not actually sure how long it's been since I last uploaded. Also just realised that we're still playing a little bit of a rotated side with Abdallah in there instead of Cuevas, but he's done alright in the few games that he's had. Obviously he's not first choice, but he has been playing cup games. Like to try and keep things rolling a little bit. We've got plenty of potential, plenty of talent in the team. So it's really just going to be a matter of time and watching it all come to fruition, I suppose you could say. Pretty dull first half. Look at that. Not a single highlight. We haven't even created a chance yet. And this is probably what I was talking about before, the fact that our shots are starting to creep up. I know it's only 6 at the moment, but come the end of the game, that is, wow. What is he doing shooting from out there? Yeah, these long shots. I'm going to have to look into that again, aren't I? Fagan may have to come off. It's not what I want. I've already got a couple of serious injuries. I don't think I showed them, but Graham Carey is out extended for an extended period. And then Michael Duffy, who was my first choice left winger, he's also still out. We're going to get a goal here just before half time. No, we're not. I thought that might have been something. Don't often see end of half highlights. Disappointing, yeah. Yeah, they're not really too interested in that. Let's just have a quick look at this. Excuse me while I load everything up. I will say it's actually quite strange having a microphone for recording now instead of a headset, because you sort of have to remember that the microphone's not in front of your face. We're going to bring Sam Byrne on instead of Fagan. I know it's only a facial injury, but let's not tempt fate. I'm sure it can't really get much worse. Yeah, 6 long shots. I may have to look at that very soon. I know that we have work ball into the box on. It's probably the individual instructions. I need to tell them to shoot less often. But I know it also comes down to teams that sit back and defend. And when you look at the fact that Longford have only had 1 shot all game, they're probably not really coming forward. So maybe that could be the reason why we're having so many long shots, because they just sat back defending. And we can't find a way in at the moment. If that continues, I'm going to tell them to play wider, look for the overlap. And basically try and force our way in. So we're playing fairly wide. So look for the overlap. We'll even go wide, like wider. Just slow it down a touch. And that'll probably do for now. I'm going to go back to mixed crosses. I thought low crosses would work. Given the fact that we've got quite pacey strikers. We'll bring Halkadel in for Honeyman, because I know he's coming back from an injury, so I don't really want to rush that either. Let's see if we can get something out of this game. I feel like we deserve it. Only 2 shots on target is a bit of a concern. What have you got? Saved, and they're not really from dangerous positions. But no, I'm really not a fan of all these long shots. Tell them to get creative, eh? I've had 2 half chances, but still nothing major. Everybody's looking nervous for some strange reason. And we'll bring London for Lindsay. It's another playmaking type, but he can play that box-to-box role that Kane very much seems to enjoy. He's not really having the best of games today, although 6.9 seems to be the best in the squad. This is looking like a pretty dull draw, unless now Karen O'Connor's injured, and I've just made my last substitution. Oops. So maybe we'll go like this. Target man and a poacher, and then we'll just go down to control, and we'll look to go a little bit more direct. We'll go direct. And just bump that tempo back up. Basically just gonna have to try and sneak out of here with a draw, I think, which is unfortunate, but you can see exactly what I was trying to say earlier, about all the shots and not much is happening. That looks like a red card to me. That was a terrible challenge. Straight red. So it's 10 men against 10 men for the last 3 or 4 minutes, depending on injury time. It's not a bad performance. Good pass completion. We've got possession. Just failed to convert. Oh no, Matty Lund's injured as well. Oh no. Oh, don't you dare, not now. That's a nice easy save for Flat. But injuries are going to be a real issue. It's going to be 4 injuries now. I'm just going to say unlucky. And no one really cares. So not the best way to come back. We'll just check those injuries for a second. O'Connor's going to be out for a while. What about Fagan? Go to the club doctor. And then Lund is just a bruised rib. Alright, well let's jump forward into the next game. I can't remember who that is now. Bray Wanderers in 3 days. So it's going to be a little bit of some changes in the side, and we need to bounce back. A couple of draws all of a sudden after some good wins. So I'll see you in the next game very soon. Okay, so we're back for game 2. This time we're away to Bray Wanderers. Just gonna have to make a few adjustments around the place, just to make up for the injuries. Really struggling. I'm gonna play a young winger, Curtis Hanley, today, who had a really strong. You can see he's on a 7.5 over the last 5 games. He's already averaging over a 7. He's been really good throughout pre-season and all that kind of thing. I'm going to put Cuevas back in. I think he was actually in a bit of a bad patch of form, which is why Abdallah was in, now that I've looked at that a second time. Matty Lund isn't really up to it. They said he can play 45 minutes, but I'm not interested, given the fitness issues. So we'll put, where is he? James Chambers, he can go in instead. And then we'll jump straight back into it. Hopefully this time we can get the win. Because that, well, is pretty important at this point. I know we're undefeated, but we're not really stamping ourselves out as champions, or potential champions even at this point in time. So we'll let you say that today. Not really much of a difference there. Team talks are starting to wear thin, and might be due to the fact that I'm not exactly there coaching wise. And that's something that the Champions League is going to be vital for if we want to grow the club at all. I know I've said in the past that we'd have to be a selling club, but at the same time we do need some other form of income to keep up, because you can't rely on a team of young players to win the league every year. Early highlight for a change: McElhinney with a corner. Kane's beaten by O'Reilly, but it falls out to Gannon. Gannon's just put it wide. What I did forget to do already, I just realised, it was to set our instructions to shoot less often. But you see already we've had 4 shots. One of those is only one's been a long shot. 3 half chances already. So the tactic is working. We just need to convert those chances into goals. Okay, let's get rid of that. Highlight Bray this time. Mulroy into Connolly. We're giving away a penalty. Cuevas, who I just put back in because he's meant to be a superstar. And he's sort of picked it up. I thought he was going to give it to them for a second. That'd be a real insult. Okay, so Jonathan Flatt, he saved a couple of penalties in the past. I know he's done it on camera, and I'm really hoping he can do it again today. Green. No, not today. So we're already down 1. Everybody's frustrated. Encourage them. Hey, go away. Alright, turn it around. We're only down 1 goal. And we're still all over them. Look, Cuevas is on a yellow as well. I think I might bring him off, to be honest with you. He's giving away a penalty and he's on a yellow. Show a bit of desire. Is that Lindsay stressed out? You'll be alright, buddy. So through the middle, as always, seems to be a strong part of the tactic. And let's see if we can actually get a win today. I'd like to have a solid result on our first episode back after a little unintended hiatus. Honeyman with the corner this time. Gonna find O'Connor, and it's in the back of the net. I know I've said it before, but O'Connor's about the only threat we've got when it comes to corners, which is odd because Burgess is 6'4" and his jumping reach for about 17. At the end of the day, as long as the ball's in the back of the net, I'm not complaining. I was trying to encourage them some more. I see if we can bang another couple in. As much as I like Honeyman, his stamina is shocking. It's quite often he does about an hour and then he drops under that 70% mark, and you don't really want to leave him on for too long under 70%. And as I say that, I notice that O'Connor's about to drop as well. Fitzgerald with a throw now for Bray, cut up by O'Connor. Finds Ambrose. Ambrose is taken out by... I haven't seen 2 in a row before like that. But that's going to be them on 10 men again. So I'd like to think we can run riot now. To a certain extent. Ambrose, you're going to make way for Mr. Byrne, I think. Maybe we'll bring Kane in today. Says deep line playmaker. Lindsay hasn't had... I've already made my subs. Never mind. So we need to encourage them, I think. More. Demand more even. Because I don't want 2 draws. That's crap. Be 3 draws in a row after such a strong start. Oh, come on, boys. Talk them up all episode, and then they they fail to show it in either of the games, really. What is your problem? Why you all look so nervous? You've dominated, 2 games in a row. Just failed to score. Nope. Well, you have my apologies on behalf of the team for 2 pretty very average results. They're not terrible, I suppose. A point is better than no points, and it leaves us unbeaten still. But at the same time, you were unlucky. I don't know what to tell them. Still top of the league. Still 2 points clear. Still undefeated. It's not all bad, but I think we should have done much better. Let's have a look at our schedule. I think we'll try and get back into our skip 4 comeback. So that puts no, we'll stay with the 4. So we'll come back for the EA Sports Cup second round against Wexford, which I think was the same fixture last year. And Shamrock Rovers as well will be in the next game in the league. Hopefully there'll be a few more wins for you to have a look at. And yeah, I will be doing my utmost, absolute best to ensure that we're back to our regular programming. Hopefully daily episodes. I'll do my best. I've got another couple of public holidays coming up, so I should be able to sneak in some extra recording time. It'll just come down to editing and releasing them. So if you've enjoyed it, please come back for the next one. Promise there'll be another one. And otherwise, have yourselves a great day. Thank you. Bye.